The first introduction into instructional design and technology for us began with a plausible question. Instructional design is implemented to solve a problem. Can you think of a problem that instructional design could possibly improve? A purposeful way of using instructional design and technology is to provide a different outcome to someone's schematic that may be beneficial to the topic in a tangible way. I am using instructional design and technology techniques in a purposeful way to educate a community of learners about information of a community that I am a part of and is related to my topic, which is Reborn dolls. I'm doing this to protect the integrity of the artists and benefactors of this community, like myself. Most people are unaware that large-scale scams are happening within this creative world. I would like to provide knowledge to a wide range of audience using an easily accessible platform to educate my viewers or learners on the importance of research and care into owning a reborn doll. My audience is going to be a variety of people, pretty much anyone who has internet access and has interest in reborn dolls. Each will encompass their own prior knowledge when coming to the instructional sequence, or they may have none at all, which is okay. The participants will feel much more confident after learning the sequence. Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter? Well, too often when searching online, most people find a website that sells a product for a killer deal. Websites like Facebook from a seller that states something like,
"So you're looking for a reborn or silicone doll? Well, here's a great deal for you. Buy one silicone doll for $79.99 and wait, buy one more and get 10% off. Don't wait. The deal only lasts 30 minutes.
This was something found on Dolls Like Me 2024. Now, as you click on the seller's profile, you see pictures, family, hobby, into the art. It looks legit. Sending a message must be the next step, right? Wrong. That's wrong. An experienced community member would notice that no silicone doll would ever sell under $300 and would immediately flag the account for fraud. According to Lydia Saad from Gallup News 2023, 15% in the United States say they or a household member were a scam victim in the past year, following with lower income and less educated adults are afflicted the most. Unfortunately, the scamming issue has affected the buyer's experience. The new community members are joining due to mass interest in reborn dolls. However, few obtain the knowledge of the interest itself. The interest is derived from the viral need to be a part of the reborn community. In the Michigan Journal of Economics by Terrence Hong, 2024, he believes the future landscape of financial frauds and cyber scams appear posed for continued evolution, presenting both challenges and opportunities for individuals and business alike. My goal here is to educate, inform, and spread correct information between community members so we are all safe and protected by the influx of scammers most of the world faces in 2024. The SMART goal of this instructional sequence is, after completing the Reborn certification course, which is my instructional sequence, 100% of the participants will pivot misinformation into factual knowledge about reborn dolls. With a problem at hand, learners in mind, a need to solve that problem, and having a goal, I was then able to get into the nitty-gritties of my instructional sequence, starting with my terminal and enabling objectives. Let's get into it. So here we are in my terminal and enabling objectives. And what goals could I work with? So I thought about what the need was in the community. I thought about my own experience going into the community and what I wish I knew. And I thought about how people browse online sources and how to avoid becoming a fraud victim. And so that kind of already set up my enabling objectives by allowing me to set up modules that would cover each of those needs. My terminal objective kind of naturally followed after that. Of course, with our AI activity with our objectives, I stuck with my original objective because I wanted to show how it could grow. But we'll pivot misinformation to correct information about reborn dolls, which each of these modules breaking down does. At this point, I felt confident in my terminal enabling objectives, and I also felt that they were tangible, reachable goals within my instruction. Then I had to set my plan in action. This is a part of our task analysis. Starting with a skeleton of a process that had to be refined quite a few times, which I'm sure we all did. This is how my flowchart of my task analysis helped me plan out what exactly I was going to be doing in my modules. The flowchart also helped me begin building my instructional sequence. Meanwhile, I'm still able to incorporate my learner analysis, my needs analysis, my task analysis, and my terminal and enabling objectives, and my SMART goal. These are all things that we have already covered in this video, and that is the support into our task analysis, which you can see here. I started with Reborn's 101. What are they? Products, which I got into the kits, the materials, the paints, the community, which the artist, online sources, and the therapy benefits of Reborns, and then avoiding fraud, the certificates of authentications, the identifiers, the stamped seal on the vinyl or the silicone, and the online sources that people are navigating. These are all super important in the instructional sequence because they help build and back those goals I have created. Assessments are essentially a way to measure our goal. In effect, that is our goal being reached by the learner. So one good way that I did my assessment alignment is by doing a table. And I line this out with a table because that is what I'm most familiar with. When you do work in instructional design and technology, you may find assessment alignments in a table just like this. That is why I chose to display it this way. So we start becoming familiar with the layout of assessment alignment. And of course, with our alignment, we were asked to have a pre and post formative assessment and a summative assessment. The way I'm capturing that is by doing an introduction survey and a pre-post survey option, meaning like they're going to reflect afterwards what they feel about what they've learned. This is I'm taking all the data and evidence from my learners and improving it for their satisfaction, so the learning becomes more congruent and fluid. One, gaining attention. 2, informing learner of objectives. 3, stimulating recall of prior learning. 4, presenting the stimulus material. 5, providing learner guidance. 6, eliciting the performance. 7, providing feedback about performance correctness. 8, assessing the performance. And 9, enhancing retention and transfer. With the 9 events of instruction, I was able to incorporate them into my instructional sequence, making it a more fluid reason into why I was designing this instructional sequence. For this specific project, I will spare you the 18 pages that I have written up for the 9 events of instruction and just happily post it below if you really want to check out how I developed my 9 events of instruction. My evaluation plan is the last part of my development of the instructional sequence plan. And I feel that perhaps this is the part that I need the most work in. I only say this because there are so many options that I could choose, but I want to find and use the correct tool in order to gauge my learners' outcome if they are in fact learning from the instructional sequence. So one way that I thought, because I want it to be learner guided, meaning that they go at their own pace, they like what they're doing, they can stop and come back to it, etc. So what my plan was to do a pre and post survey, which I mentioned before. And the pre-survey would gather the participants' knowledge prior to the instructional sequence. And the post-survey would act as it says, is to see what the participants have learned flip side of this instructional sequence. And if they feel strong enough to go out there and say, hey, that's wrong, this is right about, reborn dolls. Summative evaluation, of course, is a little bit weaker for me. I wanted to perhaps take clips of the video engagement I will be doing within the modules and have them choose the correct picture of the video clip, that sequence that they had just watched. So this is really open for suggestions, the summative evaluation. How could I, besides the post survey, engage my participants in a learning activity that would help me gather data on if they were learning from this or not. Any suggestions would be great. I appreciate you watching so much. I know this video is so long, but thank you so much for watching my final project.